everybody. Welcome to the Frisco Democratic Club. Please, all of you yourselves up. Round of applause for signing up to the ceremony today. Welcome to the Frisco Democratic Club. Before we get started, I want to see a raise of hands. Who's here for your first time tonight? Well, welcome. Everyone's welcome, and thank you all for showing up. As for the newcomers here, we are the Frisco Democratic Club. We have 2 events every single month. We have a breakfast club and also this happy hour. This happy hour, we talk about the local politics that are going on, people who are running for office. We have a couple candidates here tonight. I would really like to introduce them to you as well. But before all of that, I do want to say that if you want, also I want to say, if you have any questions about local politics, some of the experts we have are our board members. So board members, please don't raise your hand. Yes. Any of these people can help you, particularly Sharon. If you're Sharon, please keep your hand up. Sharon wants to remind everyone that if you have moved since the last time you have voted, please see Sharon, or I'm sorry, actually any VDR. Who's the VDR in the room who can register people to vote? As I know we have more than one. Awesome. So if you have moved since the last time you have voted, you do need to update your voter registration. It's really hard to vote here in Texas. They make it difficult to vote here in Texas. So please be mindful of that. Or if you just need to register to vote, also see those individuals as well who raise their hand. They can get you registered. We need to talk about the near future coming up. So on November, we actually do have an election coming up this November. Now, there generally won't be any people on the ballot, but there are constitutional amendments on the ballot. So if you want to learn more about that, the next time we meet, we're also going to have some printouts so we can learn more about the amendments and what they represent and how some of the Democratic clubs and the Democratic institutions suggest how we vote on those amendments. Because there's a lot of them. I think there's like 11 or 12.
17. 17. And LISD has Michelle Acton.
Yes. So she's on the ballot. I was about to say that.
Oh, sorry.
So it's okay. I did say that. So if you live in Collin County, you might need to look about this information more. But I can definitely tell you if you live on the Denton County side, and if you live in Louisville ISD, there's a woman named Michelle, I can never pronounce her last name right, Michelle Hawkinson, and she is running a special election against 2 other Republicans. So she will be on the ballot for that. But if you want to learn more about the Texas Constitution, state level Constitution amendments, head over to the League of Women Voters. If you go to their website, they have suggestions on how to vote there. You can also look for the Lone Star Left. Lone Star Left is, I think you should call Lone Star Left regardless. She's a news agency, independent woman. Her name is Michelle, and Lone Star Left is her kind of her news, local news agency that talks about local news in the area. That said, I'm also going to call someone up here, someone who's going to get a postcard, right? Of course, I catch her while she's handing it, right? No pressure, but anytime there's a postcard drive or anything like that, here's the Frisco Democratic Club, we definitely want you to promote them. We've seen postcard drives in the past, so if you want to come on up and tell us about this drive that you're running.
Thank you so much.
Go, Kathy!
Hi, Kathy. My name is Kathy. I like to write postcards. I know some people prefer long walking and phone banking, but if you like postcards, I have this little project. And this is from a company called, an organization called Progressive Turnout. And they research different places all across the country to see who would benefit from different postcards. So I ordered some postcards one day. I ordered 100. And the problem with the postcards is, if any of you know, you have to pay 61 cents now to send a postcard. It's kind of expensive. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a shot. And if anybody would like to help me, what it is I ordered the postcards and I said, let me have the ones that are in an area that is most needed. So they sent me some postcards from New Jersey. So it's a beautiful card. And so I know we want to elect people from Texas very much. We want our Texas representatives to get elected. But we also know that any resident anywhere in the United States is going to strong with us. So that's why I decided right on top wherever they said was most needed. So anyway, I only have 4 little packets of these. 4, there are 25 in the packet. And when you get the postcard, you get there's a paper that is the little packet is an instruction sheet that explains about progressive And then there's a picture, another sheet that shows you exactly what your postcard is gonna look like. And they have a script for you. They want you to say exactly what the research has shown that is the most effective postcard. And then you're also gonna get a list of 25 people to send your cards to. And these cards, they want to have mail flag appropriate communication. So if you're interested, again, like I said, it is going to cost 61 cents per card. Maybe you could get some friends to come and talk to Ryan. You pay for the postage. And anyway, I have 4 packets of these. If you, I'll just put them over there on the bar if anybody would like one. And I put my name on them, and my name on the paper, so if you change your mind, don't want to do it or whatever, have any questions, you can give me a call. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, sure. And also we have another comment from the chair.
One quick comment about the things on the ballot or whatever. If you got our newsletter, there's a link to Lone Star left in there, and go read what they think about it. Anyway, it's right there.
I think that. We also want to go over the events that are going on in the area. First, I'm going to where's my phone? First, I'm going to go ahead and plug mobilize.us. It's a website. It's not a .com website. It's mobilize.us. If you want to find any Democratic events that are going on in the area, it's the go-to place for Democrats. They will basically kind of look up generally where you're at. It'll show you the location and what's coming up in your local area. Some things that we want to plug is that there's going to be another No Kings rally. The last No Kings rally was very successful. It was countrywide, and we had a very high turnout. And we're going to have another one coming up on October 18th. There's several all over the area, so head out to mobilize.us to find the one that's closest to you. There is also going to be one here in Frisco as well. We also need a plug. I know this doesn't sound as fun, but we at the Frisco Democratic Club have also adopted a road. There's a road called Research Road, and if you drive along it, there's a big sign that says adopted by the Frisco Democratic Club. So we're able to have that sign needs to be adopted. So what we do is I think every quarterly or 3 times a year, we clean up the property alongside of that road because it's kind of like not necessarily a wind tunnel, but trash gets blown onto that road because of particular locations. It's that kind of also because of the way the wind flows onto it. And so tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., if you want to join us, you can head out to our website at friscodemocrats.org. Right on the front page of our website, you'll see a link to the cleanup event tomorrow. And we'll be cleaning up that road. It only takes a good 15 minutes. It's also kind of fun to meet like-minded individuals and talk. Get a good time with it as well. So it's not that boring, I promise you. It's pretty fun to meet like-minded individuals. And with that said, there's also an event that we want to talk about a pumpkin patch event coming up. So Jimmy, tell us about this.
Okay, also on October 18th, which is No King's Day, there will be Pride at the Hatch, and it will be hosted at the Grace Avenue PNC. It will be a family-friendly event to celebrate our diverse community and our LGBTQIA citizens. And let me see this, there's going to be a pumpkin patch, arts, music, live performances, activities, bounce houses, food trucks, vendors, and community resources, as well as a dog adoption event. And that will be again October 18th from 3 to 7 p.m. I happen to know that all of the No Kings protests in the area are in the morning or like at noon or something. So you should be able to join one of those or more, and then come on over to the Pride event.
And then, we also, our vice president's going to come up here and talk about a couple of things, just about how, great the situation is here in politics. And it's also the vice president of our club, Chris Waddell. Take it away.
I'm not going to be long, but I just wanted to just really, just emphasize how important it is for all Democrats to come together and support Democrats as much as you can. Because here's the reality. The other side, the Republicans, they're no longer now disagreeing with us on policy. They want to annihilate Democrats. I know that sounds pretty morbid, but that's reality. So If anybody watched the Charlie Kirk Memorial or saw clips of it, when Donald Trump said he hates Democrats, about 40,000 people cheered. So that's pretty frightening. So it's to the point now where either you believe in humanity or you don't. Either you believe in, and by the way, local this year is our core values of the Frisco Democrats, and I think these should be core values of the Democratic Club. So either you believe in humanity or you don't. Either you believe in liberty or you don't. Either you believe in equity or you don't. Either you believe in inclusion or you don't. So at this point, there's no like moderate, middle of the road. Either you believe in those things or you don't. So I just wanted to really emphasize how important it is for all of us to just really have that sense of community, and then especially if you're a candidate, to really espouse those values. So that was it.
Thank you, Chris. I was, before I move on to the next thing, I completely forgot to open up this. I'm always, I got the right stuff down there. There's a QR code on your table. If you would like, please scan that QR code and become a member of our club. It doesn't only help out club activities, but it also helps out local candidates because we are a PAC, Political Action Committee. And what that means is any surplus that we have for the general election, we give the majority of that surplus to the local candidates who are running for office. So, and those are only candidates who are Democrats and only in Frisco, Texas. And that's for the general, it's not for the primary. So please scan that QR code over there. To learn more about this or to donate. Again, every donation helps all activities and our local candidates. Now, I don't normally do this, but tonight I'm going to do a slideshow. And because I need to go over some really terrible local political news that's going on in our area. I'm going to show you a very quick video. It's very quick. It's only about 2 minutes long. And if you want the headline to grab your attention, here's the headliner. Headline: the most conservative Republican at the state level of Texas State House of Representatives, Jerry Patterson, our Frisco representative, might be barred from running for office. Now, while that sounds like a good thing, I know, that's first class too. While it sounds like a good thing, who's going to replace him apparently is January 6th right here. Now, this probably sounds very confusing. You're probably thinking to yourself, what is going on right now? Hey, who are you talking about, Gail? I'm talking about Jared Patterson. When I say he's the number one most conservative Republican in the state legislature, that's from the Texas Tribune. You can't listen to too well. But the Texas Tribune has ranked every state House representative from left to right on a scale. And Jared Patterson, who represents Frisco, Texas, of District 106, according to the Tribune, is the farthest to the right, based on his voting record more than any other state House representative. Now, if you're kind of trying to wonder, here. And if you want to know why this happened, it's because ironically, he said some people by name. There are two individuals that you should know about if you care about Texas local politics. Those names are Tim Dunn and Ferris Wills. And they are the top donors to the GOP. These people are not just Christian nationalists. They are pastors who preach new and self-reformation in a seven-mile mandate theology. I don't have enough time to go into that. Basically, it's one of the worst types of Christian nationalism that you can have. Tim Dunn and Ferris Wills fund every single state-level Republican senator. Every single one of them takes his money. Tim Dunn and Ferris Wills has a tremendous amount of power. And back in the day, Tim Dunn and Ferris Wills were not associated with a guy named Nick Fuentes. Their money was about to fund Nick Fuentes, a guy who's literally a neo-Nazi and idolized Adolf Hitler. Now, when that happened, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, a guy named Dave Phelan, spoke out against it because he said that was too far, even for them, right? And Dave Phelan suffered from that because in the next election, he had a very, very, very close primary from an actor who was paid for by Tim Dunn and Ferris Wills. When they said that was too far, David Phelan faced a hard primary, and he barely won that skin of his teeth. And then after that, he didn't have enough votes to remain the Speaker of the House anymore. He's still representative, but he's not the Speaker of the House. Now, Jared Patterson, what you'll see here, does something similar. He's actually at the local WFAA station, has this to say about the whole situation when asked by, this is an organization called Politics, like the FAA.
C4 groups that.
How many get fake C4?
So you got the, fake C4 groups that.
How many get fake C4?
So you got these guys that are funding these groups, and they come up, they change their name all the time. It's Defend Texas Liberty PAC. You have to have a 7-hour meeting with a Nazi guy. We all said, whoa, that's completely egregious. Nobody should do that. So they go and change their name, but they've got all these little groups like Texas for Vaccine Choice, Texas for Strong Borders, Texas Family Project, Texas for Fiscal Responsibility, with great conservative sounding names, but it's all the same 5 people that run each one of these. And they do that so that they can try to trick voters into saying, look, we're conservatives and we're supporting, this rogue candidate over here. And oh, by the way, your incumbent has voted to raise their pension this year. Well, no, we didn't.
Well, let's talk about that, because these are funded by Tim Gunn, Ferris Wilkes, West Texas oil billionaires. These guys are funding a lot of this now. These guys have made a lot of news. But give us some examples of what you're seeing, because this has a lot of lawmakers talking with the mailers that are going out leading up to the March 5th primary. You're not the only one I've heard from who's like, this is insane.
And if you're a candidate, regardless of where you sit on issues, if they're coming after you, you're up against a torrent of money.
Oh, yeah, it's basically unlimited. And what happens is they find these misfit toys to run for office that no one would invest in toys. Oh, absolutely. I mean, like this David Lowe that's running against Stephanie Flick for the 2nd time in Tarrant County. These guys that no one would invest in, no one would actually get behind, no real grassroots movement would get behind these people, yet they sign up for office and they immediately have $100,000, $200,000 campaign plus indirect spending, plus the ancillary spending of all these fake C4 groups that are providing air support for these candidates. I was ranked the #1 conservative in the Texas House during the regular session this cycle. You're not getting to the right of me on any of these issues probably. And yet, they try to pull an opponent up for me for the same reason. It's not about right versus left. It's about I call them anti-Republicans, but ultimately what it's about is money. These guys, these group of 5 people that run all of these groups, they make a boatload of cash every election cycle. They make a percentage on every mailer that goes out, every text that goes out, every Facebook ad, every TV commercial. So the more people that they can get to run in the Republican primaries, the more they can convince people that there's a problem in the Texas House, and they get people to sign up and run for office, then boom, there's mail pieces, there's text messages, and they get a cut of every single one.
And so this is, make sure our listeners and our viewers understand this. This is Republican versus Republican. We're not even talking about Democrats at all. This is strictly RVR. Who's the group of 5? I mentioned 2 names. Who are the others?
Yeah, like Lou Macias is one, you've heard him, Jonathan Stickland is this great former, state rep who served 8 years. Tony McDonald, you see their names on a lot of these forms that they have to fill out. I mean, it's all the same 5 or 6 names.
Well, let me ask you, you don't have a moment for the primary, which is March 5th here, but aren't you, why are you speaking out? I mean, aren't you concerned that you might be targeted in 2 years?
Well, I have been. My first session, I was ranked the 8th most conservative member of the Texas House, and they drew me a primary opponent and had one person invest a lot of cash to try to defeat me. And look, I'm probably going to have a primary opponent next time as a result of this.
I want to talk about how ironic that last line is. He says, I'm probably going to have a primary opponent because of the result of this. So, and you notice he dropped a couple of names there of the 5 billionaires who are controlling lots of stuff in politics here. He also mentioned David Lowe by name. In this news article, he's pissing off a lot of people. And I think what Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilkes, what they realized is they tried to primary Dave Failand, the guy who's originally the Speaker of the House, but they failed. They failed. And so what happened on September 5th, not even a couple weeks ago, the Denton County Republican Party came together with their precinct chairs, and they voted to censure Jared Patterson. Now, this is not censorship, it's called censorship. And I'm reading this at an angle, but here we go. The majority of the precinct chairs of 106 voted 25 in favor and 1 against for censuring Jared Patterson. So what this means is the Denton County Republican Party is now officially requesting the statewide Republican Party to reject Jared Patterson's file to run for office again. They're trying to ban him from running for office for 2 years. Why? Well, officially they say he's not far enough left, or he works with Democrats, which is nonsense. I mean, the guy, again, is ranked as the #1 most conservative Republican in the entire state house legislature. Now, obviously, it's not because they think he's too far to the left. As he said, no one's farther to the right than me, and yet he's about to be barred from running for office by his own Republican party. Now, at the same time, too, I mean, I don't want to make conspiracy theories or anything like that, but it's really interesting how Jared Patterson, he gets censured on what is, I think, the 5th of September, and almost the same week, another guy pops up. Another guy who actually does not live here. He lived in Capella. Apparently, he just moved here to Frisco, I guess, very recently. And his name, I kept saying it sometime today, Larry Bronk. Larry Bronk is a guy who's running officially for District 106. This is a very recent event that he announced apparently. And he admits on his website that he is a so-called J6 political prisoner. He's not just a January 6th political prisoner, he's what's called the zip tie guy. Because he was photographed breaking into the Congressional House of Representatives. He was the guy with the zip ties. The zip tie guy, apparently, has just moved here to Frisco to run for District 106. Just around the same time that Jared Patterson is about to be barred from running for office. I mean, again, I don't know if he's really funded by his other principles. We won't know that until the campaign finance paperwork comes out. But it is very interesting that someone who obviously had to spend a lot of money on court fees and attorney's fees because he did go to trial over January 6th, he was sent to prison. And when you're in prison, you're not making any money. I don't know how a guy like this, who sat in prison not making any money, then had to hemorrhage money over to his lawyers and courts, and then get covered by Donald Trump. By the way, the person for Trump does not give his money back. And somehow he still has enough money to move here to Frisco, Texas, to run for this spot while Jared's about to be barred from running for office. Again, I don't want to make a conspiracy theories, but this reeks of some sort of big donor is obviously supporting this guy. So it's very concerning. And this is basically, I'm doing a cry for help right now. If you want to run for office, we need you. Because right now, the Tennessee Democratic Party does not have a Democrat lined up to run for District 106. We don't have a Democrat. Howard Johnson, I really wish she did. I really wish she did. She just recently moved away to camp. So she doesn't have the residency requirements anymore. So we don't have a Democrat right now for District 106. We really need one to stand up and try to represent Democrats in the area. Let's see, aside from that, I know it's a Debbie Downer, but it's just the type of information that I believe that we all need to be aware of. And we also, I say this too again because I want you to tell your friends, your neighbors, that, hey, are you interested in running for office? Because if you're interested in running for office, we need someone for this area. Because we don't have a Democrat right now. And the Jared Patterson guy, he's run for office in those before. Sometimes Republicans just win by people. So if you're interested in running for office, please let us know. Please step up. We definitely need the help. Now, with that said, I don't want to end on a Debbie Downer. That's why I say the best of the rest, right? I do want to tell everyone that there's hope. You know, while we don't have a fighter yet, right now, in District 106, we do have other fighters who are willing to step up, who want to run for office, and who are going to be on your ballot. For example, we have someone who is running for governor. His name is Nick Papas. Nick Papas.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nick Pappas. I'm campaigning to be the next governor of Texas in 2026. I am running to face 30 years of Republican corruption in Texas. That being said, I had a couple of things not directly related to my campaign that I wanted to talk to you all about. We have special elections coming up, and we have ballot measures coming up. So if everybody would please grab their phone very briefly. The registration due date is October 6th. October 6th is the last day that you can register to vote in order to vote in the special election and the ballot measures. That being said, everybody's like, oh, I'm registered to vote. They recently purged over 100,000 voters from the Texas voter rolls, so everybody needs to check. The fastest way to do that, vote.org or texas.gov. Those are the fastest ways to check your registration. If you're not sure, if you have any questions, just come talk to me. The early voting will be about 2 weeks, right up until Halloween. So October 20th to October 31st, that's early voting. Not a whole lot of people know about early voting, they only know about the voting day. So make sure to let everybody know, hey, you don't have to go up there on November 4th. You've got almost 2 weeks to make it to one of these locations. And the locations are constantly changing due to the legislature, or no, not the legislature, the commissioners changing where the locations are. So make sure that your voting locations are active. Okay, so that was a fun one. And the next one that I wanted to talk to everybody about is gerrymandering. They did gerrymander. They did try to dilute the Democratic vote in Texas. But the best part about it is they cannot negate a vote. They can only dilute the vote. So if we get more people to vote, it's actually going to bite them in the butt. So when you go to vote, always bring somebody with you to vote as well. Just make sure they're not wearing a red hat. Got to put that disclaimer in there. Don't bring the racist uncle. Bring somebody else. Now, another thing that we need to do, a lot of people here have children, we need to make sure that we are getting our children civically involved. And none of them want to be. They all hate it. And then they're going to have their parents breathing down their neck to go vote. Drag them to vote, that's fine. Or buy a pizza and get their friends and everything to go vote for the pizza. However you got to do it, just make sure that they get involved. Now that's not telling them how to vote, but obviously if they're a child, they're not going to want to vote Republican because they're not either a billionaire or a temporarily embarrassed billionaire. So what I'm doing is I'm about to be traveling the state and hitting every single college in Texas. I'm going to try to talk to as much of the youth as humanly possible before these elections. So that way, one, I can get them registered to vote because I'm getting my volunteers to become BDRs in those locations. But also, we want to make sure that they actually know when and how to vote. Because a lot of them have no idea. I've been talking with college kids left and right. The easiest way to talk to college kids, by the way, is if you have a group of them, be like, oh yeah, this guy running for governor of Texas is doing all these TikTok dances talking about politics. They'll lose their minds trying to open the phone. Obviously, that's not the case, but it gets them interested. So, if you have any college-age kids, get them involved in politics. If you've got any kids in high school that are juniors or seniors, get them involved in politics because they are able to create like the little clubs and everything in their schools, and they would get all of them civically involved. We always talk about, oh, we need to find a way to get the youth to vote. Those are very effective ways to do it. And if you have any questions or want me to help you actually do that with your kids, I'm all about it. Please hit me up. I'm about to give off the microphone, but the last thing that I wanted to say is I am campaigning to be the next governor of Texas. I need to represent as many Texans as possible, which means I need to speak to as many Texans as possible. So as soon as I give the mic, if you would please raise your hand if you want one of my cards. My card has my phone number and my email on it, and you're welcome to contact me at any time. Thank you all so much. I look forward to talking to you all.
Thank you for that. We also got multiple other candidates here as well. I'm trying to go, I know we got someone running for Congress as well, Congressional District 26. So that is busy as well. I haven't had to give that. Everyone, please give a round of a hand for Ernest Riley.
Well, hi, thank you. So, I am Ernest Lineberger, and I'm a retired naval officer, and I've been working with Texas Instruments for the last 29 years. And Texas, probably when you're in the Navy, you don't do politics. You do the Navy, you do your job, and chances are you're at sea when the elections happen anyway. But in my time in Texas Instruments, I voted a lot, and I got used to finding out there's only one or two races that have more than one candidate, and it's a Republican state, and the Republicans have the backing, and that's what happens. Well, we started doing better. I think Democrats started waking up and getting more to happen. And when I moved to Carrollton, I started getting phone calls from people that were running for Congress. And I thought, how cool. There's somebody who might be my congressman. And they're on the phone with me. And then just talking, and it was pretty cool. And of course, they wanted money. I was happy to give it. It was fun. But I wrote their name down. And unfortunately, a lot of those folks lost in the primaries. I guess we had more people. And then in 2020, my district elected Beth Van Dyne. Big mistake. I was rooting for the other half, but that's what happened. And then in 2022, I didn't get a whole lot of calls. I didn't know what's going on. We went to go vote, and we found out, same old story. Republican, Libertarian, no one else. I thought, wait, what? And I didn't know they had just done the big redistricting after the census and all that stuff, and I was in 26 now instead of 24. So in 23, we went to a candidate forum, and I thought, we're gonna get ahead of this. We're gonna find out who is running, who we can get some money to, who we can support, who we can start backing. Nobody. There were 8 people lined up to run for Colin Allred's already blue district, but nobody that wanted to run, and I did it now that I've done it. In 2024, I came in second. I got 138,000 votes. Never done it before, didn't know what was going on. And after that, I could have said, whoa, that was a beating. I get why nobody's doing this. But I said to myself, if I don't, the next person is going to be just like me. If there is a next person, they're going to be, how do you get started? What do you do? Who do you talk to? And it is hard. So I'm running again in 2026. I'm using everything we've done before as a head start, basically a running start, and it's really good. I've got relationships with all the districts. We have all the county party offices. We've got Cook County, Denton County, Wise County, and there was a thumbnail in Tarrant County. I don't think that's in there anymore with the new districts, but I work with all of those districts, and even Collin County, I work with them too. Good people. And but let me tell you what we're up against. Republicans in general, their motivation is to support big money and big business. That's their goal. And even when George Bush, basically a good Republican got elected, he let businesses come in and sort of rewrite the EPA rules and things like that. So they're just out to support big money and big business, whatever it takes. So if you're supporting 1% of the population, what do you think your voting base is going to be? Yeah, 1%. Not many votes in that. But it's the people with all the money. And so in 2010, they got the Supreme Court to pass Citizens United or vote a certain way, such that they say, well, corporations are people too. They get to have free speech and use their money and whatnot. So we are really under the gun of creating business. Now, what did I do this last weekend? Anybody ever heard of Duck Derby?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I am also on the board of Meals on Wheels. I try to do a lot for our community, work with United Way. Christian Community Action is having a 5K this weekend. I've got a team going for that. I think it's just Darlene and I, but anyway, we've got a team going for that. And so back to Meals on Wheels. They learned about this Duck Derby that's put on by the Cross Timbers Rotary Club. And they sell these ducks for $5 a duck to, like me, about 20 of them. And the ducks, get launched down the waterfall, and they go down and down and down, and finally there's one duck that wins, and if that's your duck, you get, some money or something that you can give back to charity, maybe, or donate to your favorite candidate. So, anyway, I was there. I was wearing my Lineberger t-shirt, light blue, walking around in my Navy ball cap, USS Nimitz with my officer insignia on there, walking around talking to as many people as I can talk to, and whipping out my card when appropriate and handing it out and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. And there's all these tents, there's a kid area, and I'm having a great time. And guess what I come across? What do you guess? Any guesses? Yes, a big red tent. And they've got, some nice ladies that anybody would want to talk to in there talking about, yes, we're a party of love and fun and all this stuff. And they're not. And you know what? And then a little further down, there's a great big old Santa Claus in a dark brown beard. Anybody know Mr. Ben Butterworth? Oh yeah, owns an AR factory, and he is one of our Texas representatives, and he's there with his tent, big red tent. What do the Democrats have?
Nothing.
They got some joker walking around in a blue T-shirt and a navy ball cap, and that's what we're up against. It is big business. Who are Republicans for? They're for big business, and they run it like a business. So I do poll breeding whenever we have an election. I'm out there in the parking lot, like it comes to my second home, set up my little tent, I'm there from 7 to 7 or whatever it takes, and I'm like, can I introduce myself? And then everybody's like, oh, get away from me. But it's a lot of fun, and some people I have some really good conversations with. But there's that big red tent. They're there every day with a lot of people, and they make it fun. They got giveaways. You see a lot of people going there to and from. So we're up against a lot. And I just say that because we're not business. The Republicans are in line because they are paid to be. They're all whipped in shape. Democrats tend to vote for most of the same things because it makes sense for us. My main campaign mantra is putting people's needs first. And it's pretty simple. Who does this bill serve? Does this serve the people? Does this serve the people in need? Or is this another giveaway to the wealthy? Or is this loosening of constraints so business can pollute more, make more money? What is it? And so it's pretty easy for me, putting people's needs first. I wrote too small over here on the piece of paper. But told you about the ducks. That's what that says. I'm going to tell you, my campaign is having a launch event this Thursday night. It's in Old Town Louisville. It's at Sparrow on Main. Doors open at 6:30 and they close probably at 8:30. I'm not thinking that it stays for too much longer. And we're having a big launch party to try to get some big fire under our campaign. Donations make a difference. If you want to, do a small amount, try to do it regularly monthly. If you want to, do some big amount, who knows the most you can donate to a Democratic candidate? No Democrats know that. That's a Republican. But $3,500 for U.S. Congress. Now, you're talking the other like Texas offices, it's kind of unlimited, it's kind of illegal. But $3,500 per person per election. But I don't expect that from anybody. Our event is free, but we are expecting people to donate what they can. I actually wrote a book to try to get more name recognition. It's called There I Was, Life Memories from Ernest Lineberger. It's got a lot of stories about my Navy time as a child growing up, and et cetera, et cetera. But was that long enough? I'm just tickled pink that y'all are here. There's some new people here, and I got to talk to some of you. And this is a great club, the Frisco Democratic Club. There's a lot going on here, so thank you all for coming. I'm Ernest Lineberger. I am a retired naval officer running for the U.S. House of Representatives in Texas Congressional District 26. That is Cook County, Denton County, and Wise County. So a lot of people in Frisco just aren't quite in it, but we support each other, and I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
And then we got one more in-person candidate who's running at the state level. So when Ernest asked that question, I said infinite because I was thinking state level. The state level, this guy does have unlimited funding if you could fund it. But anyway, Sandy, tell us who you are and what you're running for, sir.
Thank you. Okay. My name is Sandeep Srivastava. I think you might have heard my name. The last time I ran for US Congress District 3 and against Keith Sell, and I got over 150,000 votes. And as you know, the gerrymandering and all those things, they included 4 rural districts in that congressional district and removed Frisco out of that. And so this year I'm running for State House 66 against Matt Shani. It is not a stepping back, but it is, we have to fix Austin. And we have good candidates for the federal, they will fix over there, I take charge over here, because it's time, 30 years. We have to make this state grow in next few elections. And we have to keep fighting. And that's what I'm doing. Because I was, like a few years back, I was enjoying my life in Frisco, living with my family, doing my business. But I was keep on complaining. And then I thought, how we can change it? Either we have to wait for the change or be the change. So I decided for the later. And when people like Sharon and all, I started doing voter registrations. We 3 used to drive together many days in the 100-degree also. So that's what I started learning the things, and then I decided to run for that office. So I'm not going to tell about what are my issues and everything. You can find it on my website, somethingfortexas.com. The most important thing right now, we are standing in such a dangerous situation in this country, and it's our job to fix that. We can run, you can vote. That's how we can change, because voting is a power which every 2 years you get in. Don't let it go. Because I know, like, I hear a lot of things from all over different parts of the world also. And sometimes I feel ashamed, like, what kind of a president we have today. So, again, and same thing what is happening in Texas also. And so this 66 is one of the seats which has a very diverse population. And this we can flip if we go out and vote. The demography we looked, it's like 55% white voting, 21% South Asians, 15% Latino voters, 12% African American voters. So this exactly, they cannot gerrymander this. They cannot take away South Asian voters or other voters, black or brown voters from this. So this seat, I think a few years back, my Cheney won by 700 votes, 1200 votes against Sharon. So in last 2 elections, we were not really very competitive. But now I'm there, and most of the people like how I run the election. I run very seriously, and I have started like 2 months back my campaigning. And this time, my goal is every day I'm trying to knock by myself 50 doors. That is my target. I will go with my wife or with my campaign team, and our goal is to knock 50 doors at least. And we are looking for the volunteers also. If you can spare a couple of hours in a week for me, that would be great. You don't have to live in my district. You can come, you can join our team on my website. And again, as I said, we need money also. So whatever help you guys can do, that would be a great help. And it is not you are giving money to me or my campaign. You are giving money to you for the future of this country. And every dollar counts. And again, as I said, I am a very serious candidate, and this time in next year, as per the data and surveys, Democratic candidates have a 20 points edge so far. only thing is we have to make it happen. We have to run a serious election. We have to contact person to person, and that is my goal. Because we have to bring people out to vote. In last election, I lost by 60,000 votes, but in my district, 80,000 Democrats didn't come out and vote. So, you see, we have to not believe that. Because people think, oh, this is the red state, red county, why one vote will do? No, we are living in a non-voting country. And I will end with this thing, like how I can win, or any other candidate can win. If I get one more vote than my opponent, I can win. And that one vote is you. So please make sure to go out and vote. Thank you very much.
And it's so true. We do not live in a red state. We live in a non-voting state, where half the people here are registered to vote, and only half of those even show up to the voting booth. But with that said, we have one last person who's running for office. As you mentioned, there's this horrible individual, a Republican named Keith Self. And we have someone named Evan Hunt, who is running against Keith Self. And we have a proxy, and unfortunately he couldn't make it tonight. He's been here before in other nights. If you keep coming out, you'll see him again. But we do have someone speaking on his behalf. So please tell us more about this individual, Evan Hunt, who's going to try to take on Keith Self.
All right.
Before I get started, I want to pay attention real quick to what Kathy said at the beginning of things. Actually, I want to pay attention to what several people said. But those postcards, I would not be doing my job as an organizer if I didn't tell y'all the postcards work. And Nikki Strahl has to be the next governor of New Jersey, so go help get postcards out. I am here because Evan Hunt, I'm honored to represent Evan Hunt tonight, who is running to be the next congressman for District 3. Most of y'all were probably just in District 3 until the state legislature decided to cut it up even further on President Trump's orders. That's a lot. But now we are running for the new District 3, and we are going to make sure that we are making that we are simplifying our tax code, that we are protecting our Constitution because it is being ripped to shreds, and that we are rebuilding our alliances. Evan Hunt is a 20-year lieutenant colonel, retired Air Force veteran, who's a combat aviator. He is a McKinney family man. He's got kids in the public schools. He is seeing what our president is doing, seeing what our governor is doing. He knows that this is not a time to sit on the sidelines. We are going to get out in 2025 and win these special elections. We are going to build on that momentum to take back the United States House of Representatives next year. Calling counties next wave, they're going to get Sandy. We're going to get whoever runs against that fine fellow, Mr. Jared Patterson, someday soon. And we are going to do this thing. So thank you all very much. Go to electevanhunt.com. Learn how you can get involved more because we're already blocking. We're already doing what we need to do to fight back against what is happening because we don't have a choice. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And just because of the night, I do want to remind everyone, you don't have to go home. By all means, hang out, talk to these individuals yourself. You can meet them in person. It's always good to have a face to the name on your ballot, right? So here's your opportunity to not just meet like-minded Democrats, but also meet the candidates on your ballot. Before I close out, again, I'm going to plug this one more time. There's a QR code on your table. Please scan that. Support the club. Again, it doesn't just support our club's activities alone, it also supports the candidates because we're a PAC and we give the surplus of our money to the candidates before the general election. Just the Democrats running within Frisco. And then the final thing I will say is please also tip your waitstaff. Jake's Burgers and Beer, they've been really kind to us. Really, really kind to us. So please support them. They support us. Thank you all very much for coming out. We hope to see you next time. You guys have a good night.